So that was pretty much the vision of our founding fathers, a limited federal government, within the constraints of the enumerated powers, and most governing at the point of the states, state and local governments,
Yes.
where it's more accountable, more efficient, more effective. We've blown that up. Now the federal government's spending close to 24%. State and local governments are over 16%. So now total government spending is about 40%. It's 3 times what it was back less than 100 years ago. And I would argue, as government grows, our freedoms necessarily recede.
Of course.
Because government has more claim on your income, or they borrow money, which causes inflation, which is a silent tax.
Do we have any sense of what percentage of the American population, 350 million or whatever it is in that range, are net receivers, get more from government than they pay in? My
guess it's more than 50%. And of course, that's the death knell of a democracy, is when the population, the voting public, realizes they can vote themselves benefits at the expense of somebody else. What they don't realize, the expense it's costing them all, because the massive deficit spending, because we're not taking enough revenue to cover the expenditures. That's what has eroded the value of our dollar. That's what caused 40-year high inflation, and that hurts everybody.
So you think that at this point, your guess is most Americans receive more from the federal government, from government
again,
at all levels.
I shouldn't even say, because I haven't checked that figure.
Yep.
My guess is probably more than 50%. I mean, when you consider all the entitlements, whether it's Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and people say, "Oh, that's my money." Well, in some cases it is. Most people probably get more out of Social Security than they actually did put in. Certainly do that out of Medicare, certainly out of Medicaid. Nobody puts any money into that. That all comes out of the general fund. So we have food stamps. We have all these, trillions of dollars worth of transfer payments.
Why is this not sustainable? You often hear it's not sustainable. What happens if it continues?
Well, again, when I ran in 2010, we'd just experienced our first deficits in excess of $1 trillion. We were spending about $3.5 trillion a year. 3.5.
So by the way, more than doubled just since 2010?
Yeah. Yes. We were $14 trillion in debt. I remember I announced in April of 2010, started my campaign in basically June of 2010, doing parades. And what I would shout is, this is a fight for freedom. We're mortgaging our children's future. It's wrong. It's immoral. It has to stop. That was my campaign theme.